And now for something completely different.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Strap yourself in.
Because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
This podcast is proud to be part of the Talk Sport Fan Network. Talk Sport. Powered by fans.
Right, Chris.
All right, good evening. How the devil are we all? Sloppy second show of the day. I still haven't seen the press conference from earlier. They've still not reloaded it onto the LCFC website. But we did the show. I think we got away with it more than Leicester did with their dicky microphones. And you know what you do? You can't have a dicky mic, can you? Talking about being dicky, here's Ant. How the devil are you? No more excuses. For Brendan has been booked. Brendan has been back now. If we lose him, walk back from Brum. I say if we lose, yeah, I get you, Ant. There isn't any more excuses. No, I said earlier, he's not going to go now between now and the end of the season. He's going to stick by him now. But I'm still going to criticise him. But yeah, come the summer, this is it. He's got what he wanted. Great Leicester channel, Ant's Leicester fan channel. Be sure to check it out. And indeed, this guy, the final whistle, Jack. How the devil are you, sir? How the devil are you? Hope you are well. And George, your emoji hasn't gone up, but you're welcome anyway, George. So it is interesting. It's the first game after the January transfer window. I'm sure we'll be touching on that. I want you pleased to welcome my guests. For years, they were, well, the nearest thing we had to a derby in the Premier League. Obviously, we've got Forest back. But this is going to be very exciting. Sharing a lot of people. We shared managers, we've shared players. Let's share him to the screen and welcome Kevin. Good evening, Kevin. How the devil are you, sir?
Good evening, everyone. Good to be here. I'm good, thanks. Yeah, good. Excited about the game at the weekend. It's been a bit of time with us. Always getting knocked out of the FA Cup in the third round. So we always have a bit of wait at the end of January for our next game. So here we are.
Yeah, no, indeed. Welcome along. Thank you for joining us.
No worries.
Your link is in the description below on YouTube. And good evening to Spencer, by the way. But do give a shout out where people can find you and what you do.
Yeah, well, part of the villaparkpod. So you can get me on Twitter at KTABFC. That's basically it, really. Yeah. I'm sure not a lot of your listeners will be too keen on some of the Villa news unless there's any links between the clubs. But yeah, we're a pretty honest channel. We like to say what we think. You know, not too vanilla like some places. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, supporting Villa and Leicester over the years, we can't afford to not be honest, can we?
No, absolutely not.
And I am so sorry, Ant, but you've got the runs. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. I hope you can make it from your desk to the toilet without too many mishaps. Just for you. Yes, Maisie's just for you there. Bless her, what a lovely laugh. Makes me laugh. if ever I'm depressed, I just play that. It always makes me laugh. Kevin, transfer windows. Let's start on that one. Happy with your window? Disappointed?
Probably like a little fans, a little bit disappointed considering what we thought we might do and considering some of the people we were linked with. I think that's the key bit. I think overall, I'm trying to be as pragmatic as I can be because we've been, like a lot of clubs, known to panic buy a little bit, and it nearly cost us, particularly in our third season back in the Premier League. We bought some players, Samatta, Drinkwater, Borja Baston, who didn't need, I think he played about 10 minutes or something. And we all thought, oh my God, we're buying these players and that might much impact. So I'm trying to be calm about it and think maybe we didn't have the players that we wanted to improve the first team. And maybe it's a good decision to not spend an extra 20, 30 million now. But when we were linked with the likes of Matteo Guendouzi, we were linked with Thuram at one point, the French striker. Yeah. We were even linked with Hossam Ouar, however you say that. It's all right on the last day. To only end it with a left back from Real Betis, and an unproven 19-year-old Colombian striker from the MLS is probably a little bit underwhelming, but we'll see what happens, I think. Yeah,
and you lost Danny Ings.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, actually, because I thought when that happened, they must have something lined up. I didn't think they'd be getting one out of that kind of... Our top scorer this season, well, he was our top scorer till he went to West Ham. Not anymore.
I mean, I don't get that. I mean, if he... Was he bad? I mean, is he your top scorer? Was he top scorer with 2 or something? I mean, surely you hold on to your top scorer.
Well, in Emery's system, and even under the same one it was under Gerrard, Ings wasn't really starting. I mean, he started the odd game, but really he was playing second fiddle to Watkins. Yeah. And lately, he's been playing Watkins with Leon Bailey off him, which myself, like a lot of Villa fans, really question Bailey's quality. But I think it's because of the outlet he's got on the pace. So Ings... It was real weird one. I'm sure you've had players like this over the years that have left Leicester that you don't really have any hard feeling. Probably like Albrighton, probably. I know probably
I was just about to say, yeah, we've been there this window with Albrighton.
Yeah, not obviously he has had big impact, in terms of FA Cups and league titles for this obviously amazing last 10 years or so you've had as a club. But yeah. Ings wasn't playing every game. He's 30, nearly 31. Probably guaranteed football at West Ham till he did his classic, which get injured in the first game. And I think Villa looked at the whole sort of...
he's injured already, isn't he? He's already injured, apparently, yeah.
Within a few minutes of coming on, yeah. And we looked at, I think, the whole amortisation of the wages, the transfer fee, everything, and thought from a financial perspective, maybe you're not going to move him on. Maybe, I mean, it would be classic Villa. You'd keep him, you'd get injured, you wouldn't sell him, and then he goes on a free in 18 months. So... But a bit of a surprise to not bring someone in of the kind of ilk we thought we would replace him, particularly when also we let really promising young striker Cameron Archer go on loan to Middlesbrough. Keenan Davies, who's a bit of a unit striker, could be effective, who's on loan at Watford. So we basically let all our striking options go. If Ollie Watkins gets injured in the first 10 minutes, if there's a bad tackle on him by Vardy or someone, then that could be curtains for Villa.
I will have a word with our new centre back and see if he can take him out,
Mr. Sousa.
But I mean, you mentioned him there, as did indeed Mark Kevin Albrighton. What a player! I mean, we got him from yourselves free. Sorry to remind you, but he's one of the few players that we still had in from the Premier League winning team. Great player. Surprised you let him go on a free, to be honest with you. But he's been nothing but a good servant. But Brendan had promised him that he would go if we got another winger in. But we had Jack Harrison from Leeds. He was actually in the middle of a medical when Leeds rang up and changed their mind and said, get back. So we've let Albrighton go. And now ourselves, we're like you are, we're short to cover with natural wingers because we didn't get Jack Harrison. But there we go. But yeah, I love him and I wish him all the best. And I'm really sorry to see him go. The other elephant in the room, of course, since you've been up in the Premier League, you've had 3 managers. Dean Smith, who did very well for you in the first season, struggled a bit. Second season syndrome, as a lot of clubs do. You then had, and Brad's not in at the moment, but Brad, who hates ex players becoming managers.
Right.
Pardon, Gerrard used to feel his full wrath. But you have obviously Steven Gerrard, and obviously now you got Emery. My neighbour, her son is a Rangers fan, and I was with him New Year's Eve, and I said, would you take Steven Gerrard back? And his actual phrase, although I can't do the Scottish accent and I'm going to tone the swearing down, was bloody hell no. He said, because apparently when he was at Rangers, it was almost like Gerrard was if you like, the face of the management team, but it was his assistant that was like the tactical genius and what have you. I mean, surprised when he walked out on Rangers to come to Villa. And I'm not having to go at Villa on that, but he was doing so well. And it's just like Rodgers. I mean, he was leaving Celtic. If you're a manager of one of those two teams in Scotland, you're guaranteed pretty much to do well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Were you glad to get him, and then were you glad when he left?
Yeah, that was exactly the emotion. I was, I probably got seduced a little bit by the whole Steven Gerrard aura. What a magnificent player in the Premier League era. A real thing for me, which was the real attraction, was the success in Rangers. And I think actually, on the back of Celtic dominance for years, I think they did a great job, obviously, with the promotion and obviously what they went on to win. And it was the fact that he was a bit of a winner, and I felt like he would instill in the dressing room a real sense of a winning mentality, high standards, and would get the best out of the players. And when his aforementioned assistant Michael Beale was with us, I even remember seeing interviews early on where I remember seeing an interview with Martinez, our keeper, World Cup winning keeper, shall I say, who it almost like in a throwaway comment said it's basically like we've got two managers in one interview.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and when he left, we really tailed off, and obviously Michael Beale then went on to do a great job in the short spell at QPR to then get the Rangers job himself. So, but the Gerrard thing was really weird after having such a really great positive impact at the start. I think we beat Brighton and we beat someone else. I think we beat Brighton at home and Palace away. Two tricky games in his first two games. And a couple of draws against big teams, and then we won another two. I think, including maybe beating yourselves. And it was. I think it was 4 wins in 6, and it felt like a good start. But big transfer window last January, we brought in Luca Digne. A big fillet for us at the time. Obviously Coutinho, back up in Callum Chambers. We bought a few people that we felt was good, but the narrative was always with Gerrard. Hey, just give me a summer window and I'll be great. And sorry for the accent there. The summer window came and we were absolutely abject at the start of this season. I mean, as bad as I've seen it in years. We played Everton, who, by the way, are the worst team in the league in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was the most painful game I've ever seen. I mean, Everton could have got something out of it. And I remember thinking this is going nowhere. We couldn't beat Forest. We couldn't beat Leeds with 10 men. We lost to West Ham when they were bottom at home. But it was more the fact that he was a bit disdainful of the fans. He didn't even acknowledge the crowd at times. The way he hauled Tyrone Mings over the coals and took the captaincy off him, which massively backfired. So many things that he did that I think most Villa fans were absolutely delighted when he left, which is after the initial feeling was not what I expected after his tenure.
Yeah. Well, that was a surprise. Just want to say hello to Barat. Just found this channel. Thank you so much, Barat. 35 years of Fox. Nice one, mate. Nice one. If you are new, if anybody is new, please do subscribe to the channel. And I'm not going to say this name because I'm not sure how you say it, but listening on Twitch, welcome along. Thank you very much as well. If you want to follow me on Twitch, I always follow back on Twitch. So please do that. You are all welcome, as is Nate. Nate is back as well for the second time tonight. Welcome, Nate. Thanks for sticking with us again. I mean, when did Dean Smith have to go? Because he came in, and I love your owners, by the way. Can I just say, I've only heard I don't know if it was his actual owner or your spokesman, but I remember listening to him in the car going to an appointment, and the way that there's good owners and there's bad owners of clubs. And they were saying it was like we want to take it slowly. We've got the money, but we're not going to spend it all in one go. We're going to build up slowly. And I thought, he really sort of spoke well and sort of seemed to have a take on it. And he wasn't just going to throw money at it. I thought, yeah, you've got good owners there. But, I mean, Dean Smith, did he have to go? Was it that bad at the time?
It was bad
through and through, wasn't he?
It was bad at the time. And do you know what? It was a real heavy heart. It was almost like taking your dog to be put down, basically, with Dean Smith. Because, I mean, we had a spell at Villa, which was not many clubs get this, when we had, a Villa guy through and through in Jack Grealish as the talisman of the team.
Yeah.
Captain, took us almost single-handedly from the Championship, really. And, swashbuckling performances in that first and second season back. And we had a Villa fan whose dad used to be steward at the club and, was there when we won the European Cup, and the whole history and feeling. I mean, even I still get almost emotional thinking about the situation when Dean Smith went to see his dad, who was in a severe dementia in a home, didn't even know who he was, the day before the playoff final, and said to him, "Dad, I'm going to be a Premier League manager tomorrow." And it's just like, amazing, wonderful, like, nostalgic, but really heartwarming feelings. So for what he did, that 10-game winning run, which was, a club record equal run, the first season back, obviously, when we stayed up in the skin of our teeth, the second COVID season under COVID, when we won 4 out of the first 4 games. And we all loved Dean, but I just think maybe he reached his as far as he was going to go with us. And I think we had 5 defeats on the bounce. Yeah. And obviously, Christian Purslow, he'd eat himself if he was made out of chocolate, Christian Purslow. And I think he got seduced by Stevie G, and that was the end of it for Dino. So it's a real heavy heart we lost Dino. Yeah, I'd like to buy him a pint one day.
Sometimes, yeah, I mean, like you said, if Ranieri came into my room here now, I'd bend over and have his babies. But at the time, he had to be sacked. Every manager does have sort of their sell-by date. We'll look at the match in a second, but also, like I said, Forest have come back up for us because that they're in East Midlands. That we've got like a proper rival. Do you see Villa and Leicester as rivals? I mean, no. Before that, you were the nearest team for us in the Premier League.
I remember a spell about, I don't know, maybe, I can't remember when it was exactly, but a few years ago, when our closest Premier League game was Reading or Sheffield United. Wow. That's how bad it was for Midlands football for a bit. And obviously, we've had our spell, obviously in the doldrums as well for a period of time. No, I don't see Leicester as a rival. No, I've never have. Because we've had so many teams near us who admittedly have not been in the same league of us for years. I mean, the only rival I had, and I'm 42 now, for all of my Premier League history in Aston Villa was Coventry for years.
Yeah.
Birmingham, West Brom, Wolves have obviously all had spells in the Premier League in recent years, and Wolves obviously established now. We're all, be it second, third, fourth tier. So I've never seen Leicester as a rival. I've always had a soft spot for Leicester. I always have. I loved what you did in the, even going back to like the Stevie Claridge era and all those playoff finals. I thought was like really swashbuckling football. And then I love what O'Neill did. And that's why I was delighted to get O'Neill. I mean, that team of Jerry Taggart and Matty Elliott, and I loved it. It was your centre half who used to go up top as well. What was his name? Was it Walsh?
Steve Walsh.
Yeah,
Steve
Walsh.
Yeah.
Just the characters you had in the team, and Guppy on the wing, and I just thought that you were a really good underdog team. Obviously we had some ding dong battles. I think you beat us on a League Cup semi, like in 2 legs. Remember a game at Villa Park when we were 4-1 up with 9 minutes to go and it finished 4-4. But I honestly, I've got to say as well, probably my favourite sporting moment, team moment of my era, my lifetime, is Leicester winning the Premier League. I talk about that more than I talk about Villa wins. The whole kind of like, doing it over a season and everything. So, no, I've never seen Leicester as a rival. I actually, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for them.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I think winning it the way we did with the team that we had at the time, I just think it gave everybody else hope, because I think you look at the Premier League and you've got your so-called Big Six. I don't know about Tottenham being in there because they never won anything, but you've got those sort of Sky Big Six, if you like. Newcastle are probably going to make it a Big Seven. And I think we just, it just showed that every now and again, you can upset the apple cart. And, I think whether you actually like Leicester unless you're an Arsenal or a Tottenham fan, I think you wanted Leicester to win because it's basically somebody else, you know. But we've got so many. I mean, I'm just looking here. I have a website, lcfc.com, and I've got on there a sort of foot in both camps page. I mean, Brian Little, had him on. He's been on the channel. Martin O'Neill, two managers that at Leicester we adore. Brian left to go to Villa. Kind of, I understand why he went because it was his club.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just a bit unfortunate that, you know, having said that he wasn't going to go anywhere, to then go left a bit of a sour taste. And Martin O'Neill, when he left us, could have gone to Everton, could have gone to Leeds, went to Celtic, but again, it was his club. But two legends of managers that we both had.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Brian Little was, I mean, I think as much as you're going to say stuff at the time about, you know, we're not going to leave, I think the pull of Aston Villa, it was the only club he played for. You know, he had, again, way before my time, even before I was born, but by all accounts, he was an
Thank you. That makes me feel well old.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember him as a player, I remember him as a manager, absolutely.
Right.
I think he retired from football in 1980, so like 43 years ago. So I don't even think maybe you'd remember him playing, but just about, yeah. But by all accounts, he was a great player, but he was Villa through and through. And obviously, you know, he won a League Cup with us. That was obviously magic. But what a great guy! You know, I think, you know, he always speaks very very fondly about both clubs. And Martin O'Neill, it's actually nice with Martin O'Neill because obviously he left us under a bit of a cloud. And I met him years ago. You know, I got a signed shirt, and I was always adored Martin O'Neill. And I like the fact that, you know, I listened to his recent book as well, and how he's kind of addressed some of the issues around his departure. And I've put the signed shirt back up on the wall again, so I've forgiven him. So it's always good.
I think I look at Martin O'Neill, and I think that when he was with John Robertson, when he came to Villa, had John Robinson passed then? Because I know he's obviously no longer with us, so R.I.P. But he was never quite the same manager. It was like when Clough and Taylor split. You know, Clough was never as good on his own as he was when he was with, you know, Peter Taylor.
John Robertson, the assistant, I'm pretty sure he's still alive, John Robertson. I don't know whether I missed something, but I'm pretty sure he's still going.
No, now you've made me wonder now. I'm sure I've been saying it for years. The
little winger play for Forest?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's still going. I mean, if he's not, I apologise to your family. If he is, you better apologise to his family. But no, I'm pretty sure he's still going. But no, he was, his last role was assistant manager at Villa. So he came with Martin to Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I owe the apology. He hasn't.
Probably because you've heard nothing from him for 15 years, maybe, pretty much, that you probably think, yeah. But
there was somebody, I presume, whether he'd had an illness or whatever, but I thought, I apologise. I've got rid of the poor man.
You know what? He did have a heart attack about 10 years ago. So maybe
did he? Right. That's probably it. Poor lad. He survived, and I'm presuming
he did. Yeah.
You know. But I mean, Stan Collymore. We both had Stan. We didn't have him for very long because we got the numpty Peter Taylor as manager. And he got rid of him. Hey, don't say Peter Taylor. No. Danny Drinkwater. I mean,
please.
Yes.
Great for you.
He was good for us, and it's very much a case of I always use him as an example of two things: A, the grass isn't always greener, and B, be careful what you wish for. Because I mean, he went to Chelsea, had the wages and everything, but he'd have still been a first team starter probably the next season. Yeah,
he's only 32 now, and I don't. Is he even playing?
I don't think he's got a club at the moment. No,
I think he left Reading, didn't he? Danny Drinkwater playing for Villa was like. I play five-a-side, a couple of times a week, but it was like I was playing for Villa at my age. The game was just passing him by. There was nice little touches, but it was like he was miles off it. Great player at Leicester. I thought he did a real sterling job in that midfield for you in that season. You won the league, but he was so far off the pace when he came to us.
And I think the thing with Drinkwater was that he always had a good midfield partner with him. He went when in the Championship. He had James with him in the middle, and It was always. He's no longer with us, James, as in the team. I should make that clear this time.
Not another one that's gone. Not another one.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
No, he's no longer with the team. He unfortunately got injured a hell of a lot, and
didn't he have to retire, Matty James?
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember him. He was a good player, wasn't he? Solid.
To be honest with you, it was only when we didn't have him that we appreciated him. And the pair of them, Drinkwater and James, were amazing. And then you had Drinkwater with Kanté. Yeah. And again, would he have been as good without Kanté? Well, I think the jury's seen the answer to that. But no, some good players there. That I'm just looking at
Gary Parker.
I loved Gary Parker. What a player! What a player!
What striker of the ball he was, Gary Parker. Yeah, good player.
Honestly, give him a free kick, and it's like, just tell us where you're putting it. But we've had some, Franz Carr. You won't remember him, but bloody hell, that's me.
I remember Franz Carr. I'm not that young. I remember Franz, tricky winger. Ian Ormondroyd. There's another one.
Yes. Mark Draper,
what a player he was. Yeah, liked him.
Our first £1 million player.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's one for you.
But such is life. But we are playing each other this weekend.
We are, yeah.
We have met each other 26 times in the Premier League. We've won 10. You've won 6. There's been 10 draws. You've only won 2 of those away. You're home, aren't you? You've only won 4 of those at home, but we've won 4 away. So somebody said earlier it's got draw written all over this. I don't know whether I would take a draw or not, though.
What you think that you need to win, or you want to win, or you expect to win?
I want to win.
Of course,
I don't expect to win.
Yeah,
and we need to win.
Well, listen, absolutely. When you're a bit further down the league, you need to win. I'm absolutely convinced that Leicester will be fine, because I think there's 3 teams that are way worse than Leicester in the league, and I mean, considerably worse than Leicester. One stat I saw the other day is Villa have never kept a home Premier League clean sheet against Leicester. Never.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So that's an interesting one for you. Well, we're expected to win, aren't we? Because since the Premier League started, no teams, I think, lost more games and won fewer points than you guys. And we've won 5 of the 7 games under Emery, which is as many wins as we had in the previous 24 matches. So our form has been unbelievable. I think in the form guide, we'd be second maybe in the league over the time, period of the last sort of 6 games. You're languishing rock bottom. This has got classic Leicester win all over it from a Villa fan perspective. although that being said, because I know most fans got a lot about their teams. It was always like, if you ever need a striker to break a barren spell, just wait till you play Villa. It's classic to happen. But Unai Emery so far has booked the trend for Villa. I'll give you some examples. We never beat Man United at home ever since that "you'll win nothing with kids" Alan Hansen quote from 1996. We've never beaten them at home since. Unai Emery comes in, does it on the first go. We've only ever won once in our third kit in the last, since we come back to the Premier League, once, and that was Burnley away in the game when Tom Heaton and Wesley both got basically horrendous knee injuries and never really played for the club again. So horrible record in the third kit. We beat Southampton in the first game under Emery. We never win away from home. Haven't won all season. We've won 3 on the bounce. So he's one for booking trends, and the trend for Villa would be we'd lose this game. So I'm hoping with Unai's magic that we don't. But I think Leicester are a dangerous team, and I think if it clicks, which you've done a couple of times this season, you've got a few new signings, a little bit of an injection, and. Yeah, I'm not resting on my laurels on this one at all.
I said last night, I did a show not last night, I did a show earlier reviewing the press conference that we did. And I said I'd sooner be facing tomorrow the Villa under Gerrard rather than the Villa under Emery. I think you got yourself a good manager there. I think he wasn't given the time at Arsenal. Obviously, he didn't go to Newcastle, but like I say, looking at the last 6 games, you are 5th in the form table. I think that's 6 games since it's been 6 games since the World Cup, I believe.
I think we've played one less as well, maybe. I'm pretty sure, like, if actually you look at the record and if you take some of it off, like, we are technically even higher than that. But look, where we've been circling the plug hole all season under Gerrard, relegation zone, it's been an unbelievable turnaround. It really has.
Well, I mean, in the last 6 games, just looking at the points, you've got 13. We've got 4. So I'm not really filled with a lot of optimism, I'm going to say to you. But what has Emery done that's turned things around for you?
Well, the stats are amazing. It's 16 points out of 21 available. Which is unbelievable, really, in terms of the form. What he's done is he knows what he's doing. He's got a plan. He's got an idea. For us to beat, also the away games we won, we beat Brighton, who have been sparkling form away.
Yeah.
We beat Spurs away, and we beat Southampton away when they'd come on the back of, 2 great cup wins in a league. They won the last 3 games before that, including beating Man City. He's got a way of playing. He knows what he's doing. He's clever with his system. He's not afraid to change things mid-game. The players have been absolutely, basically revitalised under him. And the thing is this, it's not like we've been playing at times brilliant football, but under no doubt in my mind at all, under that regime of Gerrard, we would have lost that Southampton game. A couple of our decisions that were kind of, people sort of questioned, but I thought they were both right, and we nicked to win at the end. So he's got a real pedigree. You mentioned his time at Arsenal. I don't know if you know this, but actually he's still got no managers at a higher points haul than Emery that season at Arsenal, than Emery since Wenger left. Now, he got 70 odd points. He got to a Europa League final, one of the only ones he hasn't won. And I think he was a bit hard done by. A lot of the players that are doing well, he kind of brought through, for the time that he was there. He blooded some of those players that are now, shining lights in the team. Obviously, Arteta will shatter that points all this season, but up until this point, that's still true. And his pedigree, other than that, you're taking unfashionable teams, not the big teams in Spain. He's won 4 Europa Leagues through Sevilla, one with Villarreal. Obviously, did won stuff with PSG as well. He's a real manager pedigree, but he really cares. You can tell he really cares, and he's really meticulous. His analysis is unbelievable, and he's a nice guy as well, by all accounts. But I just hope our lack of transfer activity, if we lose to you guys, which could easily happen, and then we've got Man City and Arsenal next, all of a sudden that goodwill goes, doesn't it? If you lose 3 on the back.
Well, I've been saying sort of for the last sort of 4 weeks, I've built a gate in that fence because I can't decide which side to stand when it comes to Rodgers. 1 week it's like get him out, the next week it's like he's not so bad. I mean, you literally are 3 places above us. We're 14th at the moment. You're 11th, but you're 10 points ahead of us.
The table's weird, isn't it? It's weird table.
It is totally this season. In a normal season, if we'd have played as badly as we have played, we would, we'd be in the bottom 3. I mean, we're still in a relegation battle because we're only 1 point up. But I think everybody from sort of maybe Palace down, I think you'll be safe. We're all going to be looking over our shoulders. I mean, when you're looking at your last 5 games here. I mean, Liverpool beat you 3-1, but you beat Tottenham 2-0. Tottenham gave you a lead and didn't come back and beat you. Usually they do that. You drew with Wolves, which is probably a little bit disappointing. Beat Leeds and beat Southampton. So you've got that confidence. I don't know, how did you do and I don't mean this if you got knocked out. How did you do in the cup?
Oh, please.
Oh, okay. No. Say no more. Sorry, I wasn't being funny. I didn't know.
We lost to Stevenage at home, didn't we? 2-1.
No, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. We deserve that. That's the only blip under Emery's regime. Before those last 5 games you mentioned, we beat Brighton away, we beat Man United at home. So the form, Wolves were unbelievable in the first half against us. And actually, I think their league position belies the fact that I think they're actually a very, very good outfit, some really good players. That Nunez is a real quality act. Podent's got some good players. And Liverpool, I mean, for Liverpool to beat us 3-1, it sounds quite convincing. We should have won that game. I know everyone says coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's actually, decent performance from us. So 16 points out of 21, you should be going to a game against, with all due respect to where you are in the league, and should be thinking this should be should be 3 points. But yeah, I'm not convinced. That I mean, it's good to have that break from the FA Cup. That's one positive about it. We've had a bit of time with the players, and maybe a few players coming back to form or coming back from injury. Sorry.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting game for certain. Oh, by the way, can I just say as well, the league position? It felt like we kept winning games, and what we do was kept consolidating 11th position in the league. We weren't going anywhere, but what we've done is we've pulled the teams above us a bit closer, and we've got that gap now.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, you three places in the league, but 10 points difference. We've got, I think, even the team below us, Palace, even if they win, they won't go past us. So we've kind of created a bit of daylight, which gives us a bit of breathing space, which we might need because we've got Man City and Arsenal in consecutive games soon.
Yeah. And how are you injury wise? I mean, we've got we seem to forever have people on the injury table. I think I don't know what Brendan does to them in training, but we've but. Where we've got the problems, we've bought the players, but it's whether they'll be able to sort of play or not, whether they're fit and ready to go. Christensen will be our new left back. Hopefully Tete, the new Brazilian, but I think he'll probably come on rather than start. Suter, the defender, he was injured, so I don't know about him. But how are you injury wise?
Well, we've had a few injury problems this season. We've got our probably big signings in the summer were Kamara, the midfielder we got on a free, and Diego Carlos we got from Sevilla, big, solid, built like a boxer centre half, and he got injured in the second game of the season. And then Kamara was out for about, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 weeks after that. So from a Gerrard signings perspective in the summer, it was those two, and then Coutinho has been in terrible form. So it was almost like we had the same squad as last season, really, give or take squad players in Dendoncker and Bednarek. So Kamara's since come back, for the last couple of months, and has been in sparkling form. He's been a real star for us. We'll find him probably a lot of Villa fans' best player. Carlos is maybe a few weeks away after, bad Achilles injury. There was an injury to Luca Digne, but I think he's back in training now, but we've also brought in a new left back. So it's not been too bad. I mean, one you would have thought would have been a big loss was John McGinn being injured, club captain. But actually, his form has been way better under Emery till he got injured. But actually, he's not been a massive loss. And Jacob Ramsey, who's been a good player for us out for a bit, but he's also back. So we're not too bad injury-wise, really. I think we've got most of the squad available. Other than I think maybe it might be a bit too soon for McGinn.
And Richard's just come in here. Certainly from our point of view, I think I literally just answered it as he came in. And good evening to Rich. How the devil are you, sir? Is your new sign? Well, you've only made the two, but is your main new signing likely to come in?
Well, the first one's already played. Moreno. He was on the bench.
I see. Right.
He's on the bench for his first game. I think it was against Leeds, obviously, at home, and then looked like he did his shoulder after about 10 minutes. Luca Digne. So all of a sudden, he's only been in the country a day or two. He's thrusting at left back. The other guy, John Duran. Emery's kind of talked him down and said he's one for the future, but then we haven't bought another striker. So I'm pretty confident he'll be on the bench. And I don't know. I don't think he'll start, but I think we're likely to see him because we've got no other forward options really. He's a big beast of a guy, 19-year-old Colombian. Looks like a real handful, but how he adapts to the Premier League, we'll see.
Yeah. For us, I did just say, didn't I? I think Christensen. I think he'll start. He should start. He had our left back. I mean, the injuries we've got to our defence is terrible. We're having to rely on Thomas, who's all right. He's not really let us down, but he's very young, and he's not as good as James Justin, but he's out for sort of another month probably yet. So I think Christensen, if he doesn't start, will definitely come in. I know. Told you there said Tete is certain to start. I don't know if he is or not, to be honest with you. Again, it will be interesting to see. He is the one he should start because, he was at Lille, so he's been playing right up until coming to us. So he's match fit and ready to go, as they say. It's just Suter I'm a little bit worried about in the defence because he was injured, just before we signed him. So I'm not sure about that. And if that's the case, for us, we've had defensive problems. We haven't had too much of a problem with scoring, although our 3 strikers, you'll be pleased to know, are on a bit of a drought at the moment. But we've been able to score goals.
Remember what I said earlier about strikers on a barren run coming to Aston.
Well, I was going to say that. Yes, that's the hope that I'm holding on to. But our top goal scorers are Maddison, and he's been out for sort of 4 weeks, but he's back now, which is good news. And Barnes. And Barnes does like a goal against Villa.
He does.
Saw this earlier. Harvey Barnes has been directly involved in 5 goals in his 4 Premier League starts against Aston Villa. 4 goals and 1 assist, while only against Leeds 5 has he scored more goals in the competition than his 4 against the Villains. So I'm really hoping he starts tomorrow. But he is our top goal scorer this season. But our defence, we struggled to keep clean sheets. I mean, if you saw the start of the season, it was, there was a 5-2, a 6-1. I mean, we were letting goals in like a bloody, our defence was like a sieve, just full of holes. Even now, Fazer, when we bought, obviously, in the summer, was like, he started and we thought, absolutely brilliant. But since the World Cup, he scored, of course, 2 own goals in 1 game.
Got a brace, didn't he, in that game?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it is going to knock your confidence. But I mean, the first one, yes, Danny Ward did shout for it. But if you're a defender, what I like about Faze is that he doesn't take any risks. If he doesn't think that he can clear a ball, he'll kick it into row Z. Yeah. And I think that's what was going through his mind then, because if you give him another 100 attempts at that, he will not get that ball in the back of the net again.
I agree. Yeah, I think he looks decent. It looks decent, Faze.
Yeah, but it shot his confidence. It really has. And Amati is very, very, very Marmite. You love him or you hate him, but he's steady. Yeah. But so if you're, if Watkins is on form, then I will be worried. I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get with Watkins. I think he's really kind of chalk and cheese with the Villa fan base. I think we know actually when you think about it that you're going to struggle to replace someone like Watkins because he's not great with taking the chances that we create for him. That being said, he's been involved in more Premier League goals than any of the Villa player since he returned to the Premier League. So, you can't fault that. Goals sort of output has dropped off a little bit, but he's a handful. And when he's on form, Dean Smith used to say it's about Watkins. He thinks he's the best Premier League centre forward in the league, at times. So we really need him to be on form, I think, to be a good force. Because if the ball sticks, which it does sometimes, great. If it doesn't stick, then we really struggle. I think a good example, and maybe I don't know whether this was even Villa's mind, but I noticed this against the Leeds. In Leeds, obviously, we won that game. But it was a really, really tough game to win. And when Watkins went off injured after it, midway through the first half, and Ings came on, it was just a different game, in my opinion. So, I'm a bit worried about, as you mentioned, Mr. Barnes. When you were linked with Harrison, there was a rumour going around that we might be interested in Barnes, and I licked my lips for a bit. I know he's a bit inconsistent. I think one of your comments popped up there, but I think when he's on it, I think he's a real potent player. Barnes, I like him.
I mean, people at Leicester, we seem to have this thing where we pick a player every season that we're going to hate him, whatever he does. Right. It was Ben Chilwell. He was England left back, but he was no good to play. He wasn't good enough to play for us, according to a section of the fans. Not all of them, obviously. Yeah. But Barnes, I mean, he's, like I say, he's equal top goal scorer. A couple of seasons ago, if he had the ball, he would pass it rather than take a shot. So everybody said, oh no, he always takes the easy option and passes it. He should be shooting. And then next season he was shooting away and he went, oh, he's too bloody greedy in. Why does he never pass it? The guy, one of my co-presenters, Craig, isn't a fan. Whatever you say about him, he scares defences.
Yeah.
He runs at the defence.
He's got pace. He's direct. I think when you've been at your best, I think in recent years, from what I've seen, when you've had Barnes and Vardy, obviously bombing forward, and Tillemans pulling the strings, and and you got your fullback bombing on, and Dewsbury Hall, do it when he's on form. I think you look like a really good team. I mean, I've seen you a couple of times this season and thought you've looked really good. Obviously, there's been a lot, probably more bad than good this season, but you've clearly still got it in the locker if the players obviously click. But I think Barnes is a kind of player. We say this a lot on our pod. I've really got it into Leon Bailey at the moment. I think he's wildly inconsistent. Amount of air shots he does and terrible output he's got. But a lot of my fellow hosts on the podcast say that's just wingers. That's just wingers, Kev. Wingers are streaky by their very nature. We've had it over the years from whether it's Trezeguet or Anwar or Ghazi. But I didn't mention that. Bertrand Traore is like a new signing for us. We just got him back from loan. Yes. Although he's injured, so he is injured still for a few more weeks. But all these players are kind of much of a muchness, really. They'll be an 8 out of 10. They'll be a 2 out of 10. And sometimes if it's that first run they take is successful, they're confident. If the first shot they have, goes in or tests the keeper, they're confident. If they put it into row Z, then sometimes it knocks them. I think they can be a bit fragile confidence-wise wingers, can't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nate says here, I think Barnes will shine now that we have Tete on the other side and Madders back centrally. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, because of our lack of wide players, he has literally taken all the stick, if you like. But hopefully now, as long as he stays fit and Tete plays regularly, hopefully it will balance. And the bad news is that, means we can move Maddison into the centre because he's been playing on that wing. And he's more... I love it when Madders is playing centrally because it's almost like he's got a free role. And I think that's what he needs. And the fact that you just go where the ball is, and you make things happen. We know he can get a free kick in dangerous positions, sometimes just by falling down. But, we take it when it's your own player, don't you?
Yeah. Well, we used to have that with Grealish. Do you think he'll stay around after the summer, Maddison?
Well, we're going to be losing Tielemans. And I'm not going to start talking about it because I'll be here for another half an hour talking about my thoughts on him not signing a new contract. But I don't know. I think to let them both go, I think it's going to be difficult. Yeah. Whether he will sign a contract, because look, just to keep it short, basically, Tielemans could sign a new contract and put a load of conditions in there, like 20 million plus. I can talk to people. A team that's playing in Europe, I can talk to them. So he can put conditions in there. Then at least we get some money and we know what's going on. Harry Maguire, when he left, knew that he wanted to leave. Knew that Man United were interested in him. Came to the club and said, "Look, my contract's nearly up, but you've saved me from Championship football. You got me into the England team. I don't want you to lose out. I'll sign a new contract with these conditions." And that's why we've got 80 million. Maddison has got, at the end of this year, he's got just the year left on his contract.
Yeah.
He is settled. He's got a family now. He's settled. I'm sure he will move on at some point. I really do. I mean, the likes of Jamie Vardy, where they stick with you, they have the heads turn, but they still stay. They're few and far between. And I think he will move on. Whether we can afford... Had we got Jack Harrison in, I think we'd probably be having a different conversation.
Yeah,
but
potentially.
With not getting him in, Newcastle want him. Now, look, if Newcastle come in and any player, if the right offer is made, you're going to let them go.
Yeah.
Look at Grealish. As much as you love the guy, you're not going to turn down £100 million, are you?
No.
Every player has his price. So I just hope that he maybe stays with us a bit longer. Just like I say, because Tielemans is leaving, and I think to lose two of your most influential midfielders in the same window, it's not good. It's not good.
How long do you think you've got left of Mr. Vardy?
I think this will be his last season.
Oh, right, okay.
And I think we brought Daka in, who is his natural successor, if you like. Very similar, speedy, the way they play. Inacho, I love him to bits, but he struggles when he's on his own. He needs another striker, and Brendan Rodgers doesn't like to play two up front, so he prefers the one and then the one behind. So I think Jamie he scored one goal, I think, in the Premier League all season. And I think had we got, not necessarily Daka, but had we got that other striker in a season earlier, he would now be hit the ground. Because some players, when you bring them in from the continent, hit the ground running and they play like they've always played here. Others take a while to settle in and get used to the different styles of play. Daka's taking a while. So I think we were a season too late getting him in. As I say, had it been a season earlier, I think we'd be seeing more from Daka now. Jamie Vardy, I mean, he's getting on a bit, bless him. Love the guy to bits. We're trying this. We'll play. Vardy one week, Daka the next week, because Vardy can't play, every week, and certainly can't play twice a week. But what he's got to sort of kind of, and I think he knows it's coming. He's going to be a super sub to me. We need to let Daka play game in, game out. He's young. He can play twice a week, every week, wherever it's needed. But if your defence is there and you've been holding on and it's 0-0, and Daka's run you a bit ragged because he's very quick and what have you, and then 70 minutes gone, you're looking at it thinking, oh God, we could get a point out of this, and then you see Jamie Vardy coming on. Your defenders are going to go, oh shit,
He's still got his pace, hasn't he, Vardy? He's still quick, isn't he?
He's still got his pace, but not over 90 minutes.
Of course.
That's the problem. But I think, like I say, for those last 15, 20 minutes to come on, run at tired defences, I think that's his role moving forward. And I think he's got that. And I think if Daka was more... Daka's the guy, played Moscow in the Europa League, scored 4 goals in one game.
Right, yeah.
I can say you've got to give these players, you can't keep swapping them in and out because they don't get used to the form. But no. I mean, what do you think Emery will go for you, sort of formation-wise? Sorry.
Well, he's been doing. The usual situation has been Ashley Young's usurped Matty Cash now at right back. 37-year-old evergreen Ashley Young. Who was Martin O'Neill signed, I think, in his first.
I'm not going to say he was dead, but I didn't know he was still playing.
Yeah, it's been. The crazy thing is, if you ask most Villa fans who's been our player of the season, I think the majority would say Ashley Young, which at 37, his energy levels are unbelievable. I mean, he came to us after winning the league with Inter Milan, and we thought he's probably a bit more of a trip down memory lane for him, because obviously he made his name in the Premier League under Villa. I remember that. It was a January transfer window. God, we're totally talking 15, 16 years ago under Martin, and he signed with John Carew at the same time.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
From the past.
And to come back and be in the form he into keeping, a highly rated, World Cup playing right back for Poland, Matty Cash at the team. So it's a consistent, I think, Martinez in goal. It'll be Moreno, because I don't think Digne, if he's back, it might be Digne, but Konza and Mings and Young. And then it's now consistently that double pivot in midfield of Douglas Luiz and Bouba Kamara. And then usually it's Buendia ahead of Coutinho. I think Jacob Ramsey will play, and it'll be Bailey and Watkins. I would have thought that's my pick for the team. Bailey off Watkins, or maybe playing like Bailey one side and Buendia the other side with Ramsey ahead of, or maybe Ramsey and Buendia swapping. Either way, but that'll be the team I suspect.
Yeah,
injury permitting.
I think his favourite formation at the moment with Brendan is the 4-2-3-1, and I think that's what you will see tomorrow. But it's like, to me, this is like where we kick on again, because you've got the new players, we've lost some of the players. If you need a defender, we can always let you have Vestergaard. No charge. We'll pay you to take him.
We've already had our share of ex-Southampton defenders. We had Bednarek, and he was rubbish, and he's gone back now. We've already had our share of them. That
absolutely put the shits up me, because I thought, God, they've called him back because they're going to sell him to Leicester again, because we got Bertrand. I mean, Bertrand was literally played a couple of pre-season games, and in fairness, looked pretty decent. And he's been injured for like a season and a half since that. And Vestergaard could have moved in the summer to Fulham, but he wanted to stop and fight for his place. And I'll tell you, the only place he would ever get is from his local chip shop. And he's now turned down a move to Hertha Berlin, but his wife's due any day with the baby, so I kind of get that. He didn't want to not be there, and I understand that totally. But yeah, damn. Yeah, what is it with Southampton defenders, eh? But
I know.
Kevin, I really do appreciate you coming on. As always with these shows, you know what my last question is going to be. Give me a score prediction.
I'm going to say 2-1 to Aston Villa. That's my prediction, because we know we don't keep a clean sheet against you. So yeah, I think it will sneak a narrow win. I think. Can I just say as well? Like, I know obviously, I imagine Rodgers will have them fired up for it, because obviously after us you've got. Am I right in thinking you got Spurs, Man United, and Arsenal? So
we've got something like in I'm not sure what order, but we go. It's a horrendous run till the end of February. Yes.
Yeah, and I've said a couple of times that we've got Man City and Arsenal after you. So I think for both teams, it's an opportunity to get 3 points. And
I think if you're honest about it, and no disrespect to either team, we would look at this and go, well, this is probably our best chance of 3 points. As will you do. You'll be looking at this and thinking the same way, which will probably mean it'll be a boring 0-0 last game on Match of the Day game.
No, you'll definitely score. We've established that. It's just whether we can get one to match it.
Well, I've funnily enough gone the other way, but for exactly the same reasons. I've gone 2-1 to Leicester.
Yep. No surprise.
Yeah, I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet either. But if Tete plays, I just fancy him getting off the mark, Tete. Let's hope Barnes can keep his good form against you going.
Let's hope indeed. Yeah, let's hope indeed. Well, I'm hoping for a good game. I think there's been some good games obviously against the teams. I remember that game when I think Ramsey got one disallowed because Castro Schmeichel was fingernail was on the ball. I think Konza scored.
And now. It doesn't become you. It doesn't become you.
Yeah, sorry. But that was a 2-1 win, and that, we never come from behind a win. That was obviously a good game. I think there's been some really good games over the years.
You did say about the semi-final, but I do remember the last time we played in the semi-final. I think you beat us.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I mentioned obviously earlier, like some of the squad players you had, but it was an Al Mohammadi assist to Trezeguet to get the winner, and Trezeguet at the back post. So. There's been some good games. There's been some really good games with the teams over the years. There's probably been a slight dynamic, hasn't there, shift, because obviously you were a top 4 team and fairly established, well, at least around about the fight for top 4, and we were trying to stay in the Premier League. And now, obviously, I don't think the season will necessarily finish as it is now, but I certainly think we've put ourselves back on an even sort of keel with the likes of Leicester now. So, and I think it is good. It's good for Midlands football, isn't it? No matter what we say, the talk's always been Manchester and London. So
I mean, it's nice to have that group of Midland teams up here. And like I say, I don't necessarily think of you, like what we said before, as a rival either. But what I do see, it's been the most thing nearest we've got to a derby game for years.
Yeah.
but I mean, you've had West Brom, I suppose, a couple of times. You've had Wolves. Are they nearer than us? I think they probably are.
Wolves are really close. Yeah, Wolves, West Brom, Birmingham. Coventry, obviously, not for a few years now. So we've had some decent ones. If you go beyond that, you've probably then got a Stoke and a Leicester. So those kind of teams.
Well, I'm hoping for a repeat. I'm just looking here. When we played you in March 2020, I don't know if you remember that game or not, but it finished 4-0 to Leicester.
Yeah, no, wasn't it 4-1? Didn't Grealish score?
4-0. 4-0 it was. Yeah.
Oh, I do remember.
Harvey Barnes scored 2, believe it or not.
I do remember that game. We were terrible in that game. Absolutely atrocious. Do you know, when was that? Yeah, that was, do you know what? I'll tell you why I remember that game. Because that was the last game before the COVID lockdown. And if COVID hadn't come, if COVID hadn't come, with the form we were in and how bad we were playing, I think we would have certainly gone down. COVID came. We had a reset. We got 8 points out of the last 4 games, and we stayed up by the skin of our teeth. No team's ever got that many points in the last 4 games, apparently. So that was almost like the shot in the arm we needed. So yeah, sorry, I do very much remember that game, because I was thinking, my God, we've just come back to the Premier League and we're going back down.
Yeah, well, I would take that result again. Like I say, Harvey Barnes got 2. Jamie Vardy got 2, including a penalty. And Mark Albrighton got 2 assists. So you're pretty safe on that last thing. I've got to say, because, of course, in your team then, though, was obviously Grealish. I've got to ask, and I meant to ask this earlier, so do forgive me. Are you missing him?
I think I'll always miss him, really, even though I was a bit bitter, after he left. And, you want to believe that, you could. I look at situations like this. I look at what Gerrard did, admittedly a different situation with Liverpool, and think, if what would it mean to him to potentially win maybe an FA Cup in his time at Aston Villa, potentially, or take Aston Villa to the Champions League, or I don't know. But he's been vindicated. He went to Man City. Admittedly, hasn't really sparkled there. But has won the Premier League, and there's a good chance he'll win a trophy this season because they've got a really good shape for obviously the Champions League and obviously the Premier League still. Admittedly, Arsenal have got, and he went to win trophies and he won a trophy in his first season. The thing with Grealish for me is, I know I had slightly rose-tinted glasses saying this, but I genuinely felt in that season, that COVID season, I thought he was the best player in the Premier League. He was unbelievable, the influence he had on games and the way he would carry the ball, the way the team was. I mean, without him, I think we would have been rock bottom of the league. In fact, when we was out of the team for a period of time, that's when our form really struggled. And I look at him now in a Man City shirt and I see him get the ball and pass it back to the fullback, get the ball, pass it back to the fullback. And I want to see him just basically flourish. I want to see him show off what he's got. And I feel like he's in a shell a bit. So we do miss him, but then I do think the other side of it is this: we're very much a one-man team, and with Grealish in your team, with a club like Villa, all of a sudden everything goes through him. It's almost like a Ward Prowse with the Southamptons kind of situation, or a Letitia with them before. And is that necessarily a good thing to have that? But that being said, I'd take him back in a heartbeat.
Yes. And I mean, he's one of those players, a bit like Harry Kane, I suppose, really, that when he's playing against you, you just hate him. It's like, he's falling, but he goes down. If you go past him and fart, he falls over. And he's a diver. I mean, he's playing for England. It's get Grealish on. We want Grealish on. He's one of those, isn't he? But if you're upsetting the away fans, the opposition fans, you're doing something right.
Yeah, he's a match winner. I mean, I was throwing stuff at the TV when Maddison wasn't getting a sniff at the World Cup. I know he had a bit of an injury, but, he got the most creative player, I think, at that point in the Premier League that season, Englishman-wise, in Maddison not getting a sniff. Grealish not getting much of a look in, and he's bringing on players that weren't particularly in great form, and look what happened in the end. So, got to roll the dice sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, because of course he didn't play, but he still managed to get injured. I don't know what that says. But Kevin, thank you so much for coming on. I'd say good luck, but I don't mean it.
I know.
Good luck for after this game. Although we've still got to play you again. I think this is the first time we've played you this season. So all the best for the rest of the season. Again, we'll put your link in the chat, in the description below, on YouTube. But again, give a shout out as to where people can find you.
Yeah, get me on Twitter, KTAVFC, at KTAVFC. Also, our pod at Villa Park Podcast. So, give us a follow. It'd be great. Obviously, we'll give you a follow back. Good luck for the season to yourselves. I don't say this on every away podcast to go on, by the way, but I generally do have a bit of an affinity for Leicester. We talked about some of the shared players, but I just think the story of that underdog story, and as I said, I remember the early 90 teams. So, and I really truly believe that, Everton are terrible. Bournemouth will go down. I'm still not convinced by Forest. They've bought, annual players can they buy? I think Southampton's struggling. I think you'll be all right. Admittedly, it's a bit close for comfort. And if you don't have a great result against us, and then the next 3 games, you could be really embroiled in a fight. But I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. And good luck.
Fingers crossed. And it's nice to have Midlands teams in there. So, and you're going to definitely be safe this season. But all the best, mate. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, Chris.
Let's hope there's some goals, whichever way it goes. And we'll get you onto a quiz, like we said.
Why not? I love it. I'll hold you to that. Cheers. Thanks all. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Take care, mate. All the best. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Nice guy, Kevin, there. Make sure to go and check his channels out and the podcast. Great guy. So we're going to go through some stats now. I'm just trying to see if I can get this up and running. He says very Let me just play this a second while we actually get this loaded.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Okay, so I'm hoping this is going to work. Just briefly, because we haven't had time to do a stat show this week because we had the press conference show. So I'll just run through them here. Nate, thank you so much, sir. Hi, Mike. How the devil are you? Welcome along. So let's just go through this then. So this is... well, look at the last results there. I went back to March 2020, which was, as Kevin correctly said, there was the last game before the COVID lockdown, and we beat them 4-0. If only we knew now what we knew then, eh? They have won 50% of the games. We have won 33% of the games away, and there's one draw, as you can see. Looking there at the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 games. Plenty of bookings, and we've got the top on goals as well. Form, well, there's the standings. They're 11th, but they've got 28 points. We're 14th with 18. So we're literally 3 points below them, 3 places below them, and yet we're 10 points behind them. Wow. And just look at that form there. I mean, you've got to look at that and go, Jesus. But again, you know, with the games that are coming up, this, and I said this in the show, Villa as well, they're going to be looking at this and saying, this is one we can win. And to be honest with you, we're going to be saying exactly the same. So I just think it is going to be. It could be a 0-0, like you say. You're saying there, Aston Villa have seen over 2.5 goals in 6 of their last 7 home matches against Leicester in all competitions. Leicester have failed to win in their last 5 Premier League matches. Not sounding good. And then, like I say, if we look at the form, this is the form as it stands. Villa are 5th with 13 points. We are 15th with 4. Now, looking at the home form, which is obviously Villa, because they're at home, Aston Villa are 9th. They've played 6 and they've won 50% of those at home, while away, as you can see there, Leicester just behind Villa, played 6 and we've won 3 away. Probably doing slightly better away than we have been doing at home. These for the last few games there, as you can see, the fixtures. Home, here we go. Villa, in the last 4 home games there, they've lost to Liverpool, they've drawn with Wolverhampton, they lost to Stevenage, as he mentioned there, with the sending off as well, and they beat Leeds. Away, we lost to Fulham, we beat Gillingham, we lost to Newcastle. We lost to some team just up the M1. We drew with Brighton, though, which, in fairness, you know, looking back and looking how Brighton are doing, that was not a bad result. And, of course, we've got Tottenham is our next away game. So, characteristics, Aston Villa strength, counter-attacking, creating chances through individual skills, protecting the lead, and start stealing the ball from the opposition. They're all strong on that. Leicester's strengths, well, we've got 2 there. We're very strong at shooting from direct free kicks. I think we'll find that is Maddison. Creating long shot opportunities we are good at as well. Weak, they can't avoid offside. Defending against long shots, aerial duels, avoiding individual errors and defending set pieces. That's Villa's weaknesses. So let's hope that Maddison gets a few free kicks then. Weak, we are very weak, Leicester, at defending against long shots. And this is all based on the games this season in the Premier League. We are weak at defending against skillful players. We're weak at protecting the lead, don't we know it? Weak at aerial duels, defending counter-attacks and defending set pieces. And yet we've got this new set-piece coach who seems to have kind of disappeared since we last did the World Cup. Villa's style, excuse me, attacking down the left. Just get a drink. My voice is going. Attacking down the left. Opponents play aggressively against them and they are aggressive themselves. Leicester style, taking long shots, short passes. Well, yeah, to me, to you, to me, to you. And it's just a defence. Attempt through balls often. We're non-aggressive, ain't that the truth? We like to play in our own half again. You know, we're very, very not often in the final third. Let's be honest, and we like to play the offside trap. Let's have a look here. Aston Villa will score from a fast break situation. Is likely. This is the match forecast. Aston Villa will score as the result of individual skill, is likely. Leicester will score a long shot, is likely. And Aston Villa will stray offside very often, likely. And as you can see there, I'll just highlight that. Sorry, that bit there. Match forecast is predicted, is generated from clashes in team characteristics. And strengths and weaknesses, our styles are calculated from statistics of each player's last 2 seasons. I'm just going to see if there is a... we're on summary now. Team stats we've just done. Here we go. This is what I was looking at. Right, so Villa against Leicester. Attacking down the left-hand side and the right-hand side and the middle. We are pretty much there. Going to cancel each other out, aren't we? Because we both like to do much the same thing. Villa at home, again, slightly more down the left side, and Leicester away, pretty much the same as we are overall. Shot directions, again, look at that, pretty close. We don't do much from the right side. If Tete starts tomorrow, that might change. That might change. Yeah, I mean, 90% down the left, probably because we've got Barnes is obviously always on the left. And this is our shot zones. As you can see there for Leicester, 39% outside the box, 54% in the 18-yard box, 7% in the 6-yard box. Not a huge difference again between us and Aston Villa. Hibbert saying, good evening, sir. How are you? Hope you are well. Shall we pick a team? Let me just have a look if I can just quickly get that up. And you guys can join in with this one. I just need to see where it is. So please bear with. There we go. Right. So we're going to start with Ward in goal, I think, aren't we? Now this, whoops-a-daisy. Let me go back to that. Oh, I haven't got it. Just bear with, callers. Bear with. I thought I was organised, but I'm not. Team, post-match. You share post-match. Latest scores, prediction. There we go. So we'll get rid of this. And then I'll stop screen. I don't know why, but this will not let me share 2 screens at the same time, which is rather annoying. I'm not going to lie. Right, so here we go. Are we going to go? Are we going to go, guys, for a 4-2-3-1, because that seems to be what he likes to go for. Not my favourite formation. I'm old-fashioned. I like the old Mike Bassett. We're going to play 4-4-2. Dear. But I suppose let's try harder. You had a decent school report then, mate. Right. Let's have a look at what choices we have got here. What's that? That is the 4-3-3. 4-2-3-1. I think that is what he's going to go for. I really do. So I'm going to have to start. This is what I would like to see, subject to obviously players being available and being fit. So it's going to be Ward in goal. There we go. Going to be Ward in goal. I think that's like, presume, Iverson, he's 4-1-4-1, Mike. Yeah, I get that. I think it could be, but this is almost like a 4-2-3-1, isn't it? Well, it is a 4-2-3-1. But we will see. I tell you what, do you know what? Sod this. I agree with you, Mike. Let us go, Mike, for 4-1-4-1. Do I have that available? I might not actually have that available. Yes, I do. There we go. Okay, let's do this then. 4-1-4-1. I wish it was 2 up front, but we know that ain't ever going to happen when Brendan Rodgers is in charge. So at left back, do we go for Christensen or do we go for Luke Thomas? I think, and I don't think very often, Luke. I think Luke Thomas has had a bit of a bad press, if I'm honest with you, because he's done what he's been able to do. He's been called upon a lot. But I'm going to put Christensen in because I just think that Luke Thomas needs a break. Now, whether this will show up or not, KRISTIANSEN. Nope, we don't. It doesn't come up. Oh, brilliant, Victor. This is great. When he was playing for a team that should even be KRISTIANSEN. There we go. There we go. There he is. So I think we'll start with Christian. What do you think? Victor Christensen at left back. Good evening, Joe. How are you? Hope you are well. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, you've agreed with me, Mike. I think Christensen. He might. I think he'll start, but then he might come off because, of course, they were in the middle of their winter break in Denmark, and of course that is always going to be, taking a few games to get in. So he may not be ready for 90 minutes yet. On the right back, we're going to have Castagna. Great news that Piera might be coming back. But yeah, I can't wait. It'll be like Kevin said earlier. It'll be like having a new player back. Won't it? It'll be like we've signed a new player. Hopefully, I'm worried that he's going to turn into a sick note. I really don't want him to turn into a sick note, but I do have a feeling he might do. But I'm going to put Castagna obviously on the right, only because we're really, really struggling. Of course, the worry now is if Castagna gets injured. Oh my God, I just thought we've got no Mark Albrighton, who normally comes on that role. It would probably have to be a Marty if he's not playing either brought on there or, that's going to get scary, isn't it? Right, so at left centre-back, I'll just make sure I'm looking the right one there. Out phase now. Really, what a great player. He started well. That game where he scored the 2 own goals totally has knocked his confidence. And I understand it. It's bound to. The only way, it's like I said earlier with Daka. If you drop him, it's a difficult one because do you drop him to take him off the firing line, or do you just keep playing him because that is what's the word I'm looking at? Because you get back on the bike quickly. But again, with the choices we've got now, then this will all depend on fitness. But I'm going to put Harry Sutar in. Simply because I like Danny and Marty. Yes, he's not brilliant. He's not a world-class defender, etc., etc. But he's done. I don't groan when he's in the team now. Yes, he had a bad start to the season, but he was playing on the left, and he obviously isn't a left-sided player. But if Sutar's fit, 6'8", he's got to get in. He's got to get in. I'm sorry, Danny. Thank you for everything you did for us, but we might need you at right back if anything happens to Castagna. But if Sutar isn't fit, then it will be Daniel Amate. But we will see. He'll definitely be back for the game after. Whether he'll be fit for this one or not, we are not sure. Centre midfield, for me, it's going to be Mendy. Mike, I will be totally honest with you here, Mike. I haven't actually, because I'm filling this in, I can't actually see the screen. So I've got it on another window, which is on another laptop, which is a little bit behind. But we are agreeing so much at the moment. What's wrong? We're Leicester fans. We can't agree. It's not allowed. Samara's injured still. Ndidi, he's just not the player he was at the moment. And Mendy, okay, Indeed, this is the better tackler, but Mendy puts a better ball through. He does more with the ball when he's got it and when he's won it than Indeed he does. So I think he's really, really underrated. Obviously, AFCON winner. I think we've treated him really quite badly, to be honest with you. But for me, he starts. Left midfield is going to be, well, who else really? Harvey Barnes, like I said, he terrorizes Villa. Let's hope he can do it tomorrow. I know he's a bit of Nate, get out and go and sit on that naughty step. I am not saying I'm annoyed at. I'm not angry at you. I'm not annoyed at you. I'm just very disappointed in you, Nate. Very disappointed. I'm not even going to say it. It is Mike. It is the best position for him, yes. But Barnes, like we said earlier, I mean, his. Let's just bring it up again. Look at this. Directly involved in 5 goals in his 4 Premier League starts against Villa. 4 goals, 1 assist. while only against Leeds, 5 has he scored more goals in the competition than his 4 against the Villains. So, to me, it's a no-brainer. He starts. And I know, like I say, he can't seem to do right for doing wrong for some Leicester fans, but at the end of the day, he attacks the defence. He runs at the defence. And, we could do with that on all sides, couldn't we? Right midfield. Well, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Who am I going to go for? Tete. We've got a Brazilian. Let's use him. Let's see what he's made of. Let's give him that. Let's give him that chance to prove himself. Again, he was playing with France last week. In France, I should say, last week. So we haven't got a problem with fitness. To me, yeah, he should be in there. Mike's agreeing with me. Mike, what are we like? Are you a brother from another mother? We're agreeing too much. Now then, this is where it's going to get exciting. Let me find which position I'm going to look at. On this central midfield attacking role, I'm going to play James Maddison. Let's get him back. Let's get him back in the centre of the field. To me, it's the best position for him. He gets a bit more freedom. He can, basically he can go where the ball is. And I think that's the way that he plays. I think he plays better that way because, you can't putting him out on the wing is almost a waste. Yes, he can do it. And in an emergency, obviously, I would have him there. But, now, it gives me confidence, like I say, and if I was manager, it gives me the player that would, like I say, he's just a bit like Grealish was for Villa. Just give him the freedom to go where he wants. Now then, this I think is where we are going to fall out. 3 players into one position won't go. And I think I might annoy a few people with this one. But for me, I can't decide. The decision that I have made is I'm dropping Yuri. Yeah, I know, he's technically our best player, but he just hasn't been performing that well. He missed a penalty the other day, and all right, anybody can miss a penalty. Vardy's missed penalties in his time. So, it was his attitude afterwards. Was it just sort of frustration, or was it like, you take it either way. But look, players miss penalties. We can't blame him for that, I've missed a penalty in my time, or we're talking different level here. We're talking about work team annual sports day, and we didn't get into the final because I missed my penalty. So yeah, I sympathise with him. I quite fancy Pratt, but I don't know whether he can play on that side. I'm going to go for Dewsbury Hall simply because we know he plays that side, and I feel sorry because I mean it's awkward when you've got these players and you can't play them, and I don't want to see Pratt go, but I understand if he does because he wants regular football. But yeah, I'm going to go for Dewsbury Hall. And Mike and me agree again. Up front now then. I'm sorry, for me, you can't Jamie Vardy can't start these games. I mean, that said, if I don't say Vardy, he's going to come on and get a hat-trick. Daka, he needs the game he needs to play regularly. We saw with Kelechi, he was at his most dangerous when he was playing week in, week out. But, when at the end of that season, 2 seasons ago, he was our top scorer, but he was playing every single week. And he seems to do better off the bench. So, look, I'm going to go Patson Daka here. I'm actually disagreeing with you, Mike. I'm disagreeing. Daka and, I'm sorry, Kelechi, I love him to bits. Love him to bits. What can you say? The guy he loves the FA Cup. This isn't the FA Cup, though, unfortunately. I wish it was. So I just think Daka just needs to get this run of games. He really, really does. I'm just seeing if there's anything I've got here. This is Kelechi, isn't it? Okay, I know it's bad, but now I love him to bits, but he does need to play up with 2 up front with himself and another one. And to be totally honest with you, right? I sound like Anthony now. To be honest with you, Brendan Rodgers isn't going to play 2 up front. I can see in the summer Kelechi maybe even knocking on the door, going, "Look, Brendan, play me or let me go," and that'll be sad. But and Vardy is injured, like you say, Mike, as well. So for me, it's got to be Daka, and then bring Kelly on when the defense is a bit knackered. So that's my team. Not my favourite formation. I definitely would play 2 up front, but there's no point me sat here week in, week out going, I'm going to play that team. I'm going to play that team, knowing that he's not going to pick it. What's the point? But that is a team that I would go with. I think that is a very good team. I think that's a team that can win the match for us. And I've gone for 2-1. What's everybody else going for? Let's see straight after this.
Coming up next on Leicester Till I Die TV.
Coming up next tomorrow night, we've not done it yet. It's going to be the prediction show. Normally, obviously, on a Tuesday, but we had a slight thing of the transfer deadline day being on Tuesday this week. So join myself, Steve, and Brad tomorrow night, 9:00 for the prediction show. Be there or be square. Why not sub to the channel and click that notification bell? Then you will never miss a show. So we are going to be back doing that, and then obviously we're going to be doing the watch-alongs as well. I could see Tete coming off the bench. If I'm honest, I think he probably will, but I'd love to see him start. Like I say, he's been playing, so why not stick him on? Now, I say, I'm sorry, for me, we need to take him out. He just has not been himself. Since the FA Cup, we haven't seen, in my opinion, the proper Yuri. His mind's elsewhere. He's thinking about going. No. And I know he's not gone, and we know we shouldn't use him because he's a good player. But there's players that are in better form at the moment than him. Not necessarily better players, but players that are in better form. And that's why I will not be starting him if I was me. You are absolutely going for a goal fest here, Mike. Villa 2, City 4. Wow. That would be, from a commentary point of view, that would be great. Nate has gone 2-1 to the Foxes, same as me, and Toldya has gone 2-1 as well. Colonel, good evening, sir. How the devil are you? Never really heard of Tete. Any good? I thought he was the right back. No, he's a winger. Coming from Shakhtar Donetsk, was on loan at Lille, I believe it was. Or was it? I think it was a French club anyway. We got him on loan till the end of the season because we're not allowed to buy him because of UEFA rules with the Ukraine. But yeah, first ever Brazilian we've had. Joe has gone 3-1 to Leicester. Mike, Yuri can't be asked. Yeah, I think I get what you're saying there. Using a different Leon. That's it, Leon. Thank you, mate. I think I know what you were referring to there. If Tete starts on the bench, I'm going Bozo. You said that earlier. Maybe I won't do the watch along tomorrow. Look, we are on Saturday. We are doing the watch along 2:30, obviously live on here. And everybody said that they missed the graphic. You know, the graphic was ahead of us. You all want the graphic back, so I'll be bringing the graphic back this week. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everybody that's been in the chat. Mike, told you, Nate, Colonel, thank you for popping in. Joe, and of course, a big thank you to Naz. Sorry, Naz, you were in earlier and I was doing the team. I didn't see you pop in. Hello. And everybody else that's been in going back earlier, Hubert, Melina, and Barat. I hope you like the show. Your first time in, wasn't it? So I hope you like it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you are not new, smash those likes. And if you are a podcast listener, whether you're listening to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, Podcast Addict, whichever you listen, 42,172 downloads last year on the podcast. Totally amazing. We're now, as you've seen, tied up with Talk Sport. We're part of their Fancast setup. Really pleased about that. So if you're listening to it, thank you for lending me your ears. You can have them back now. Mike said, see you, Chris. Dakar. Take care. Indeed. Hope you win 3 or 4. Neil, get yourselves some confidence. We need it. We need it with the games we've got coming up. Guys, I will see you tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, when we are doing the prediction show. Thank you, everybody. Like I say, whether you've been watching or listening on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or listening on your favourite podcast platform, thank you so very much. And if it wasn't for you, I'd be sat here talking to myself, which is the first sign of madness. Yeah, I think I'm past that one. Take care, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Take care. Good night.
This podcast is proud to be part of the Talk Sport Fan Network. Talk Sport. Powered by fans.
That's all, folks.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
Leicester